Hello, good evening and good day. Welcome to my live market meeting, 12th May 2020. I am Sagar Nandi. I used to work in IT, mostly in Singapore. I retired several years ago, now living in Thailand and swing trading stocks using the Q systems and techniques that I will use today. You may watch this and other trading related videos on my YouTube channel, Trading Profitably. Contact me using my email ID tradingprofitably@gmail.com and have a look at my live stock and market analysis posts on my traders forum sagarnandi.com and also on my Twitter page Sagarnandi. All these resources are open to the public and you are most welcome to make use of them. By the way, are you able to hear me and see my screen? You may use the live chat feature on YouTube Live to let me know. Thank you. Disclaimer: this demonstration is for educational purposes only. It is designed to share information on the systems and techniques I use for trading. The information presented here should only be used by people who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. Past performance is no guarantee of future return. I am not an investment advisor. This session is not for any recommendation of buying or selling stock or any other instrument. I will have no liability for any investment decision made by the audience. This is a live market review. I am going to use Q Global for technical analysis. I may use Q Finder to identify trade setups, also part of the technical analysis. Then I will use Q Vital for fundamental and peer analysis, Q Edge for sector industry rotation analysis, and also Q Index for market and index analysis. That was the last slide of my presentation. Let me continue with the live system. I mentioned that I shared a bearish trade idea today in my traders forum sagarnandi.com. If you are following my post, then you would know that in last couple of days I had not shared any swing trade idea. I was looking at the market. The market was inside a triangle pattern. Let's review the market using the market ETFs first. This is Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF DIA. I'm using the weekly, daily at a glance template. I'm using Q Elite on TradeStation. In the daily chart, price was moving inside a narrow range. That is why I was avoiding taking long trades. Price had already recovered significantly from the recent lows. The best time to buy stocks, in my view, was gone somewhere here. For example, when Q systems gave a go with flow trend following long trade setup. After that, price went up. The swing trades taken at this point would make significant profit relative to the risk. Then DIA started moving sideways. Not only DIA, the other market ETFs were displaying a similar pattern. SPY was also moving inside a narrow range. QQQ is the only one that was able to go up. Note that today it has displayed a bearish headwind, possible reversal signal, a bear release signal, and also a reversal candle. Though the trend is still bullish, not sideways in QQQ, still because three bearish signals came together, the bearish headwind, bear release, and a candle reversal pattern, anybody holding long position in QQQ may be cautious. What about IWM? IWM was also moving inside a narrow range. There was no uptrend. Therefore, other than QQQ, none of the other ETFs, DIA, SPY, IWM, they were not going up, they were moving sideways. That was one reason why I was not sharing any long trade idea on my traders forum. Also, I tweeted about YM futures. Now I'm looking at the futures. This is Dow Jones futures. I mentioned that it was bound by support memory and also a resistance memory. In fact, on this day, DIA could break out of its memory resistance, but the Dow Jones futures could not. It tried to go up but reversed below the memory resistance line. Q traders take these lines quite seriously because it could not close above the memory resistance neither on this day nor on the following day. I was not going to take any long trade. Today it fell sharply and the last candle here is overnight market after market hours. It is starting to break below the memory support as well. It reversed from memory resistance and now it is breaking below memory support. That is also not a bullish signal. And if I look at the E-mini future symbol S&P 500, here also price was moving inside triangle pattern. It couldn't close above the memory resistance. Today it dropped sharply. The last candle is overnight market, still above the memory support. If it can break below this memory support, then both Dow Jones Industrial Average futures as well as E-mini S&P 500 futures will break down below their respective memory supports. That will be bearish. That was a look at the market using ETFs and futures. Other than that, I shared several tweets. Let's have a look at that. This is what I shared today, May 12, 11:46 a.m. At that time, this is an analysis of NDX, the Nasdaq index using Q index. At that time, the NDX was up by 0.29%. However, you can see 55% of the stocks were actually down. Therefore, the market breadth was bearish, though price-wise NDX was up. I observed that and I tweeted about that. After some time, I shared a snapshot of Q Edge 1 week sector performance as of 11:50 a.m. also today, May 12. And I saw that only one sector was up, 10 sectors were down. That was very bearish from a sector perspective. Which sector was up? Only consumer staples was up. That was a defensive sector. Therefore, this sector performance was also bearish, as shared at 11:51 a.m. After a while, around 2:20 p.m. to 19 p.m. actually, precisely speaking, to 19 p.m. I tweeted a graph from QFinder. I looked at the trend continuation signals and trend reversal signals after running QFinder scans over more than 1200 stocks. To make this graph meaningful, we have to run it on at least 1000 stocks. I have a list of liquid stocks with at least 5 years of history. That list has more than 1200 stocks. I usually run QFinder on that list. I have shared that list in QVital, and I have also demonstrated earlier how you can create that list and maintain that list using the ready-made QScans. I saw that all the trend continuation signals bearish side was much more pronounced, and trend reversal signals bearish side, the red bars, were also much more pronounced than the bullish sides. Bullish sides should be the green bars. This is another way of looking at the market through the trade signals that are coming from large number of stocks, and that was also bearish today. Then I shared a snapshot of the market breadth at 2:22 p.m. also today, and I showed that the Nasdaq advanced decline, the number of stocks advancing minus number of stocks declining in Nasdaq, it started with a very high level 1200 and then dropped sharply, tried to recover, but as of my tweet to 22 p.m. it again started dropping. For NYSE, the same thing happened. Advanced decline started at a very high level 1200, immediately reversed. It could not recover at all, though Nasdaq could recover somewhat. NYSE could not recover, it was continuing to drop. If you look at the up down volume in the morning session, up down volume, that is volume of all the stocks going up minus volume of all the stocks going down in Nasdaq, initially it was going up, meaning volume was more in the stocks going up. However, then at this time around 1 p.m. it fell sharply, tried to recover, and then as of this 2:22 p.m. it was dropping again. On the other hand, NYSE, though it started positive, not much, but started positive, soon after that went into negative territory and remained negative for the rest of the day until 2:22 p.m. This was also showing that the market was bearish from real-time intraday market breadth point of view. This view is available in Q Elite on TradeStation. It is not available on Q Global because Metastock doesn't have the data. Also, if you notice the tick extremes, both for Nasdaq and NYSE, they were mostly on the negative side throughout the day, much more than the positive sides. That was also showing that under the hood, it was more bearish than bullish, even when Nasdaq was positive. I was observing all these bearish patterns in the QFinder result in the movement of the market ETFs, market futures, and also the market breadth. Looking at that, I was looking for short setup. I had run Q Finder already. I went to the short tab. I had copied all these stocks, and let me do that again. Copied all these stocks to Q Vital. I could copy in that manner by Control C, but that is not the way to work with Q systems. I should not do that. Q systems, we don't need to use Control C, Control V much. So I can go to signal long, sorry, not signal long, signal short, the Q Finder, right click and copy all, come to Q Vital and press the binocular button. That is the symbol for Explorer in MetaStar. What I am going to do, instead of looking at those potential short symbols, I am going to look at their fundamentals first. Look for star shorting candidates in terms of fundamentals. Meaning what? Meaning stocks that are overvalued and also having negative earnings growth. QVital has updated the scorecard. I can now go to the scorecard and click the star candidate short button. Red color in smart filter means short side, and I have these stocks. I found DRE from here. Let me search for DRE. No, why I cannot find. Don't match case. Yes, DRE. DRE, as you can see, is overvalued, has a negative earnings growth. That is what is meant by star short candidate in terms of fundamentals. I found the stock from Q Finder, and let me go back to Q Finder, search for DRE again. I found the stock from here. Q Finder Duke Realty. Today it is up by more than 6%. What are the short signals here? Today's signals are shown by orange color. So we have a breakout in Duke Realty and also a go with flow, that is trend following short trade setup. And from Q Vital, I saw that it is a star shorting candidate. If I want to have the one page snapshot fundamental scorecard for DRE, I may click the peer analysis button. Now it will do a peer analysis using DRE as root stock. Last time I transferred the data from Q Finder bearish signal scan result, but now I'm going to carry out a peer and fundamental analysis of DRE, and again, as we expected, the scorecard will remain same. Valuation shows it is overvalued and earnings growth is negative in the latest quarter. Therefore, it is a star short candidate in terms of fundamentals. Earnings is some distance away. The percentage change columns 10-day, 5-day, 2-day and 1-day, they are showing that it is gradually coming down. Therefore, I could locate a potential short trade in terms of fundamental. What about its technicals? We already know there is a short trade setup, that is a breakout and a go with flow short trade setup that was shown by Finder. Let's click the chart button to look at the actual chart. Before opening chart, I need to put my cursor on the chart application. Open the chart again. This is the daily chart, and I'm now going to open the weekly daily at a glance template. As expected, I have a breakout setup here. My drawing tool doesn't seem to work for now. Give me a minute. Okay, it's working again. Indeed, it broke down below memory support. Therefore, it gave a breakout trade setup, and also it has a magenta flow candle in the daily chart. Can be seen from the ribbon also. It has lower high and lower low. Relative performance is sharply tilting down. Weekly backdrop color is magenta bearish. Those are meeting all the checklist conditions for go with flow short trade setup. Therefore, technically DRE indeed has a go with flow short trade setup and also a breakout short trade setup that was already shown by Finder. The stock is a star shorting candidate in terms of fundamentals. To make it a 360-degree trade, I now need to look at its industry strength. I'm clicking the cog icon and instantly it shows the industrial rates is weak. Very nicely it is weakening. Not nice for long stockholders, but I was not holding any long stock. When I see an industry is weakening like it is doing for several weeks, I am not going to buy any stock in that industry. That you know from my videos, my post. So this industry was also weakening. If I look at the industry percentage, it is down by significant percentage. Therefore, I found a 360-degree short idea, and that is what I shared in this forum post. When I shared it, that was at 2:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can see from the timestamp, the industry was weak. Fundamentally, of course, the data would not change. It is overvalued with negative earnings growth. And at that time itself, it gave a go with flow and breakout short trade setup. If you look at this candle and go back to the live chart, you can see that since the time I shared the post, it fell down further. And if you ran the scanner in time, you could have shorted it right when it was breaking below memory support. This is yet another time where I could keep an eye on the market from different angles, looking at the ETFs, looking at the futures, looking at the advanced decline graph from Q index, and I'm running Q index now in real time using that Q index graph, using market breadth information from Q Elite and the Q Finder summary information, the balance of long and short signals. I was having a bearish view and I could easily find a 360 degrees short trade setup. And you can see in Nasdaq, by the end of the day, 94% of the stocks are down today. Only 6% are up. What about, let's look at S&P 500. It has retrieved the S&P 500 components. Now it is retrieving data about all those 500 stocks. Let's give it a few seconds. It has updated and we can see 92% of the stocks in S&P 500 are also down. The same will be true from Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's check the weakness there, DJI. %97 of the stocks are down. Keeping an eye on the market from multiple angles in this manner helped me to start to take short trades. Even though if you look at QQQ as such, it is still going up. And if you look at SPY, it was moving sideways and it is still moving sideways. But I could start to take short trades. I was already not taking long trades and I could start to take short trades. And if you follow my videos, if you follow my forum posts, you will come to know that I tend to be a little bit ahead of many other traders because of this holistic look at the market. I think my short trade will work out again. One thing I tend to say that if you are taking trades, either long or short, aligning all the forces, that is the industry, fundamental and technical, the chance of getting stopped out is less. It can still get stopped out, but chance is less. And if you are trading using Q techniques, you would know that already. Let me show you an example. Recently, I shared a short trade idea 6 days ago. In the last 6 days, what happened with the market? If you see, it went up. Today it fell down. This is S&P 500 ETF SPY. Today it dropped. However, for the last 6 days, price was going up. What about QQQ? Last 6 days, it was sharply going up. Whereas the short idea, and this was the other trade that I shared just before my today's short idea. In between, I didn't share any swing long trade setup. I shared the short idea 6 days ago on JRVR. The point I'm trying to make is that in those 6 days, the market went up, but my stock, the short trade, didn't stop out. Why? I think the reason is because I am taking 360 degrees trades. They are bearish in every way. When I shared it on 6th of May, 15:44 p.m., the industry, property and casualty insurance was weak. From QH, you can instantly know that, and you can know that in real time. I did the same. Then I looked at the stock JRBR. Again, I found a star short candidate, overvalued with negative earnings growth. I like to short star candidates and I like to buy star candidates also. What trade setup did it give? It gave me a breakout trade setup. It fell heavily. In the daily chart and in weekly also, the backdrop color turned bearish magenta. The week before, it had a very bearish shape candle. I don't like breakout trades so much. However, I shared it because there are other traders who prefer breakout trades. The relative performance was very weak. I found a 360-degree short trade setup 6 days ago. Though the market went up, see what happened to the stock. JRVR. It didn't go up. The breakout happened on this day, tried to go up. However, it could never even touch the memory support whose breakout I identified, and then it dropped again. It didn't get stopped out, and most likely it will hit the lower boundary. Very high probability it will hit the lower boundary and allow me to book profit. Again, though in the last 6 days the market went up since I shared the short idea in JRVR, my trade didn't get stopped out. This is what you will tend to observe when you are taking trades using the Q360 degrees technique. If you take only based on fundamentals or only based on technicals, I have seen the probability of getting stopped out is higher, especially in a sideways market or a market that is going in the opposite direction. That was the case for this trade. Market was going up, however my short trade didn't get stopped out. If you looked for trades today, which direction would you look for the trades? That is clear from the Q finder, mostly bearish, so it makes sense to look for short trades. You could look for short trades in many different ways. You could look for it from Q finder, like I found DRE, Duke Realty, and shared it, or you could also do a top-down analysis starting from QH. Let's do a top-down analysis from QH. I'm starting with the sector level, sorting by 0-day column, which changes in real time, and currently market is closed, so 0-day and 1-day columns contain the same score. Which sector is weakest today? Immediately you can see from the color it is real estate. In top down I am going to look at the weakest sector because my preferred trade direction today is bearish. So I look at real estate, drill down into the industries using the cog icon. I have these industries. Let me sort by 0-day column again. Double clicking again reverses the sort order. Let me look at only some of the real estate industries which are in deep magenta. Few others are there at the bottom, the last three. They are also weak but not as magenta as the top few. I'm looking for short trades, so I'm looking for more bearish industries. So I selected the top few and I click the family icon that is going to look for stocks in the same family, that is stocks in the same industry for all those industries. Now I have stocks from all these industries, many stocks. Again, I first look for star candidates. So I click the star button and I am left with only 3 stocks. Duke Realty I already found out. I found that out from Q Finder. If you use the Q systems, you will see you are able to find the same trade from different workflows, from top down, like I'm doing now. I found DRE. You could also do bottom up, starting with Q Finder, then also you would find DRE. And sometimes from Q Insight also, you may come to the same stock. We have already looked at DRE. Let me look at ARE and HD. Their industry is weak, that I already know. Fundamentals I have seen from this scorecard that they are star shorting candidates overvalued here, and negative earnings growth. Next step will be to look at their technical. So I am going to click on these two rows. Let me make sure I close all the Metastock charts and click on the chart icon. Both the charts will be open. This is ARE. This is moving sideways. Price couldn't close below the memory support. Therefore, I am not going to short it. It is still inside a range bound by resistance and support memories. I may close this chart. The next one is already too much down in the price range. This is HT, so I'm not going to short it. I prefer to short at a higher price level, not at such a lower price. I could probably short using the bearish headwind signal, but after that price has dropped already for several days. I'm not going to short it now. Let me go to QA. So I have looked at these three stocks. I'm going to highlight and delete them. I looked for star candidates. Let me now look for trade candidates. These are also perfectly eligible short candidates. They have either overvaluation here or they have negative earnings growth. I'm able to short from here as well. They all belong to the weakest industries in real estate sector. I'm going to sort by 0-day column, and let me open all the stocks that went down by 6%. I could go all the way down, but let me look at these few stocks first that went down by at least 6%. I click the chart icon to open all the charts, and I'm going to press Alt tab to browse through the charts. If I find something interesting, I'll stop. And I can stop on the first chart itself, ADC. This is breaking down below support, coming out of a range. Let me keep this chart. I'm pressing Control tab. This is also a breakout candidate. Valid breakout setup. This one, FR, is giving a possible trend following with flow short trade setup. ALEX, a breakout trade setup. SRC, I'm not going to consider because it has a memory support. I'm closing it. This is still moving inside a range. EGP, going to close it. This is very bearish. KRC, however, very close to lower boundary. I'm not going to short it now. The short signal came yesterday as a trend following goes flow short trade setup, magenta color candle. If I shorted it one day before, today I could book profit. Today is already bit too late for my style. This is a breakout trade again, LXP, however, already down significantly for my style. On the other hand, this is a valid breakout trade setup, JLL. Broke below memory support, broke out of triangle pattern just today. This one already low a lot, very close to lower boundary. This is still inside a range. This is very bearish, but again dropped a lot already. This one, no clear signal. This is a breakout. This one gap down and fell down further. Stop will be too far away, not interested. This is a possible breakout. This has memory support. I'm going to close it. So back to the first stock. What I did then, I first tried to find star shorting candidate, and I found one Duke Realty, and then I looked at trade candidates. Not necessarily star candidate, but trade candidates are also perfectly eligible for trading. And I found many of them. ADC, let me again press Control Tab to go through the final shortlist. ADC, CLI, FR. FR doesn't have memory support. Let me close it. Memory supports provide robust support, therefore breaking of support is also bearish. LX, ALEX, JLL, DRH, SVC. Let me close SVC also because it didn't close clearly below the support. It broke below support, but not decisively, you may say. But ADC is a short candidate. So again, ADC, CLI, ALEX, JLL, DRH. 5 stocks I could find that are giving short trade setup today other than Duke Realty. And now you may look at them using the weekly daily chart template. I'll not go through all of them, but just to confirm, ADC, the weekly is also bearish here. Therefore, ADC has a valid short candidate. Okay, let me go through all of them. Next is CLI, looking at it using weekly daily. Here the weekly is yellow. Therefore, compared to the previous one, I would say the previous one is better. Therefore, I will not take CLI. I would rather take ADC. Wasn't it ADC? Let me check. Yes, and what I do when I find a trade like that, when I'm identifying trades, I note it down on a yellow post-it on my computer. So ADC I confirmed so far. CLI I said no because the weekly is yellow. Let's look at LX, ALEX. Here the weekly is cyan, therefore I am not going to consider shorting it. Cyan backdrop is bullish. JLL, I am going to look at it again using weekly daily. This one weekly is yellow, therefore ADC still continues to be the best in this list. And the last one, DRH. DRH weekly is also yellow. Therefore, I am left with 2 stocks now. Let me look at them using TradeStation side by side. One is ADC. I am using the QLE TradeStation now and looking at DRE and ADC side by side. I could do it on Q Global also, but I'm sometimes using Q Global, sometimes using QLE to demonstrate the use of both the systems. I am using the same daily entry chart template now on ADC on the left hand side and DRE on the right hand side. They both belong to real estate sector, that is the weakest sector. Both of them are breaking below memory support. ADC is breaking down from a triangle pattern and DRE is giving a breakout short trade setup and also a trend following go with flow short trade setup. ADC is not giving a go with flow trade setup because it was not in a downtrend. It didn't have lower high, lower low. It was inside a triangle. Therefore, DRE has more bearish power behind it. It has 2 possible trade setups, breakout as well as go with flow. However, both are shorting candidates. We have more bearish signals in DRE in terms of Q technicals. Doesn't mean that always DRE will fall first or fall faster than ADC. However, the probabilities will be more in our favor if we short DRE than ADC. Over a larger number of trades, it will work out better. And if you observe, you will see that DRE fell down with much higher activity than ADC. Now I need to also look at their weekly backdrop, and let me look at them side by side. Here the weeklies are bearish for both of them. In both of those stocks, both of ADC and DRE, these were the earnings weeks with the dollar symbol and the dot. It was going up, and after earnings it is starting to go down. Both are having similar pattern in weekly. Both are possible shorting candidates. Now let me look at ADC and DRE side by side using QVita. I have DRE here, ADC here. I control click on these two symbols, and I'm going to click the scissor button to eliminate everything else, and I can just look at them side by side. Which one is weaker here? Of course, DRE. Both are overvalued. Both are overvalued, shown by magenta color. Secondary variation is also weak for both of them. However, DRE has negative earnings. Both actually have negative earnings growth. However, DRE's earnings growth is more negative. In terms of valuation score also, if you want to be very picky, DRE is weaker. In terms of dividend yield also, both has dividend. However, DRE is again weaker. Looking at these two fundamentals side by side, it is easy to conclude which one is weaker because the color coding makes it very intuitive. DRE is weaker, and technically also we saw DRE is weaker. One of them belongs to industrial rates, one belongs to retail rate. ADC belongs to retail rate. Why don't we go back to the sectors, go to QH, industry. One is retail rates, one is industrial rates, isn't it? Let me confirm again. Industrial rates and retail rates. Again, I am able to use the scissor button. Which one is weak in the recent period? We are interested in knowing the recent period. Both are equally weak. I don't want to know which one was weaker 12 months ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, because for short-term trading, I'm more interested in the recent period, and in the recent period, both of them are in magenta color, therefore both of them are weak for me. In conclusion, I found two stocks as shorting candidate in real estate sector after this comprehensive and intuitive colorful analysis, you can say. One is Duke Realty, DRE, that is my preferred short trade setup. That is the one I shared on forum. However, ADC is also giving me a valid breakout short trade setup. But of course, I prefer DRE for the reasons that I mentioned. That was a demonstration of the top-down approach. Why don't I now look at Q Finder and try to find some trade from there. Q Finder. I am going to look for short trades. We go back to the top. Let me choose all the stocks that are down by 10% or more. These are the stocks. And some of them has multiple signals today, the orange color signals. In this case, instead of looking at fundamentals, I could look at fundamentals using this peer analysis button, but I'm choosing to open them using Metastock charts first. I made sure that no chart was open. Now I am carrying out a bottom-up analysis. I already have the QFinder short scan result here. I am choosing the stocks which are down more than 10% today and trying to open them. And while they are opening, I can take a sip of my coffee. They are open now. What I am going to do now, in my mind, I am applying the Q-trade setups. They are unambiguous checklist, and if I find a valid trade setup, I will stop. If I don't find a valid trade setup, I'm going to close the chart. And I want more confirmed signal. This one, let me keep. I'll come back to the shortlisted ones later. Let me close this one also. This one I'm going to keep. This one I'm going to keep. This one close, 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 close. Keep. Can keep FLR. Can keep certainly. Can keep. Okay, back to the first stock. So this is a clear breakout candidate. HCSG. However, it was in an uptrend. It was not moving sideways. It is a breakout, but it was in an uptrend, not sideways, not downtrend. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to close it. On the other hand, this one, JCOM, I prefer more because it had a bearish headwind signal, price drop, enough for a profitable swing trade, tried to recover, made a lower high and now dropped again, gave a magenta flow candle. Can see that from the ribbon also. Therefore, today JCOM gave a trend following short as well as a breakout short, and it has high bearish pressure, very high volume. This is looking very similar to DRE, isn't it? Let me look at it using weekly daily. This is very nice. Interestingly, let me change the symbol DRE. Keep this picture in mind, and I am going to go back to JCOM. Very similar picture. Both are giving valid short setups. Now, instead of going through the entire list, let me complete the 360 degrees analysis for JCOM. I found it from QFinder. I looked at the technicals. Now I may click on the JCOM symbol and carry out a peer analysis. Remember, orange icon means it is going to take me to another application, that will be QVital. Okay, I might not have clicked properly. Let me type it. It has retrieved the industry. Therefore, instead of waiting for the peers to be calculated, I am going to check the industry first. The application software industry is not as weak as the real estate industries that I was looking at. Relatively speaking, application software is stronger, shown by the cyan color. However, cyan color in industry scorecard is relative. To see actual performance, we can see the industry percentage, and industry is down today by almost 2.8%. Therefore, it allows me to short. Let me go back to the fundamentals. This is not a stock I am very happy to short because fundamentally it is quite strong. Valuation is undervalued. Earnings growth has reduced, though it is not negative. Still, in terms of fundamentals, it is clearly better than DRE or what was the other stock? ADC. And let me list down all the stocks I'm finding. Can I short it? I can still probably short it because remember, though relatively speaking, the industry is stronger than the real estate industries. See the number of stocks up today versus down. Only 8 are up, 53 are down. And this stock is down considerably, 11.34%. Technically, it is giving a very nice short trade setup. At minimum, if I was holding a long position, which I was not, but if I had or if any of you have a long position in this stock, you may be careful. That was JCOM. Let me try to find 360-degree trade setups where everything is aligned, including fundamentals. Let's look at OUT out. Looking at it using at a glance. This is a breakout trade setup. Breakout setup doesn't tell I cannot take it if the weekly is yellow. Let me look at outs fundamental. The industry specialized rates. This is real estate sector, so I think this is going to be weak. The industry is going to be weak. I should refresh the data because I deleted some of the rows when I used the scissor key. Go back to vital, carry out the industry search again, and specialized rates is also weak. Fundamentally, it is not as weak as DRE because valuation is good. So it is a short setup but not as weak as DRE or ADC, and also weekly is yellow, not magenta. Therefore, I am going to pass it. You see, I am doing a very objective analysis and not letting my bias take over, and I'm not telling myself, okay, this is good enough for me. I'm waiting for the best setups. And there are always trades even with the 360 degrees analysis technique. FLR, let's look at it. Here the weekly is cyan. I'm going to pass, not interested in shorting it. This is NTCT. This is looking very bearish, both in daily and weekly. Let's check out its fundamentals. NTCT. Communications equipment industry. Let's check its industry first. It's in the middle in terms of relative strength. However, the percentage down shows it is down enough for us to take a short trade in the industry. Down by almost 2.9% today. Check out the fundamentals. It is a trade candidate. Though the valuation is good, it has negative earnings growth. Therefore, it gives me a trade candidate. Therefore, I found another trade candidate where the chart is looking very weak. In fact, you could short it right when it was breaking below memory support. The stop is a bit far away from today's close. That may be a concern actually. If you are shorting tomorrow, you may try to use the real-time fine-tune precision entry technique so that your stop, at least on the entry day, is narrower. The best time to short it would have been when it was breaking below memory support today. But it is also a weak stock. Okay, I closed all the stocks. That was by mistake. No problem. NTCT. So let me write that down also. NTCT. I found 3 stocks. However, I prefer to short ADC and DRE because their sector industry is weaker than that of NTCT. I carried out top-down and bottom-up analysis in both of the techniques. I'm going to end up with stocks where fundamentals is weak. In this case, short trade ideas. Therefore, fundamental is weak, technical is weak, and industry is also weak. Let me end today's session here. I tend to have a view of the market and take trades in that direction. I stopped taking long trades for a few days, even though the market was going up or moving sideways. It couldn't break below memory resistance for several market futures. Therefore, I was not taking any long trades. I shared some short idea 5-6 days ago, and though the market was going up, my shorts were not stopping out. Why? Again, because my view is that my trades were very weak. Short trades and the stocks were very weak. Trades were strong. The stocks were very weak for the short trades, not only in terms of technicals but also fundamental and industry. They tend not to stop out so easily. As of today, just today, I changed my preferred trading direction to short side. Market view is still neutral, by my preferred trading direction. Currently, I changed to short side. We'll see how the market does tomorrow, and then I am free to change my view again. That is all that I plan to share in today's session. I hope you have an idea of how to use the Q systems effectively. At least you know how I am using it, and you may be able to use it in your own way. Thank you for attending. I look forward to seeing you again in the next session. Have a great day, have a great week, and trade profitably. Thank you.